Giving feedback is one of the most powerful teaching tools you have. Done right, it helps students grow, motivates them, and improves learning outcomes. Done wrong, it can confuse, demotivate, or even shut your students down. So in this video, we're going to walk through 6 tips for giving effective, actionable feedback with real classroom examples you can use today. Let's dive in. Our first tip is being specific and clear. Vague praise like, nice work, or this needs improvement, doesn't tell students what they actually did well, or what to fix. Instead, try something like this.
You used strong evidence in paragraph 2 to support your argument. Well done.
Or, if you are looking for improvement, try something like this.
Next time, try to explain how your solution connects to the question, not just the final answer.
This works well because specific feedback reinforces desired behaviors and gives students a clear direction for next time. The second tip is not to make it personal for the student. Focus on the task they are performing and separate the student's identity from it. Instead of telling them they are no good at the task, you can tell them that part of their solution is incomplete and that you are going to figure out what is missing. This will keep your feedback aimed at growth, instead of being discouraging or personal. Feedback loses power the longer you wait. That's why our third tip is not waiting too long before giving your feedback to your students. If after an activity you wait until the end of the class to give 2 or 3 targeted comments, your students might not even remember what they were thinking. Don't overdo it either. There is no need to interrupt your students' train of thought to tell them they need to improve. Just wait until they have finished with the task, take notes, and give them some encouraging and specific tips to improve. A feedback sandwich isn't always necessary, but balance is. When giving feedback, always try to compensate and talk about both points of improvement and strengths. Here is an example to explain it better.
Your analysis is really insightful, especially your point about character development. To strengthen it further, explain how that moment changed the plot.
This is very important as positive reinforcement builds confidence, while growth suggestions fuel improvement. The best feedback doesn't end the conversation, it starts one. When you give feedback to your students, make sure they think about it and understand what you are telling them. Try asking, what do you think your next step is? Or, what part of this assignment challenged you most? This way your students become active participants in their own learning, and they develop metacognitive skills that go beyond the classroom, which will make them more independent, as they become able to choose their own learning path. Not every student needs the same kind of feedback. For the last tip of today, the recommendation is to make sure you are using the appropriate feedback with your students depending on their age, level, and cultural background. The appropriate feedback may vary immensely between students, even in the same classroom, so you ought to get to know them well in order to help as much as possible. As a general note, for younger learners it is usually better to keep the feedback short and verbal, as they are likely to have a shorter attention span. On the contrary, for more advanced learners, it is better to go deeper and challenge their thinking, or coming up with alternative approaches. Personalized feedback is more meaningful and much more likely to be applied. Let's recap the 6 tips for effective feedback. Be specific and clear. Focus on the work, not the student. Give feedback promptly. Balance positives with improvement. Encourage student reflection. Tailor feedback to their needs. And remember, feedback isn't just correction, but also connection. Done well, it helps your students feel seen, supported, and ready to grow.